In this video, we're going to take this bare metal school bus, fur it out with furring strips, and install a subfloor and start building a home in here. My name is Justin, and this is Mobile Dwellings, where we build, live in, and tour homes that you can take with you on the road. Right now, we are building out a Bluebird transit bus for Katie and Sam, and it's going really well. In my bus, I only did like 6 furring strips. In this one, because I'm doing a similar ceiling and I want to get it right this time, I'm going to be doing more like 10, 11, or 12. Just gotta stop for a second to say I am super pumped because we just put the first piece of wood in this bus. It's gonna be a home someday. So these right here are 1x3s, probably pine from Home Depot. And we're using 1 7/16 inch tech screws. And that's really it for the furring materials besides a circular saw and a good quality impact driver and drill. Alright, so now that I've got all these ceiling furring strips on, I want to talk to you about the complexities of this up here. This bus actually slopes down right where the driver is. So as you can see, there's a bit of a bowl that's made by these furring strips. Because we want to keep this, we don't feel the need to rebuild this. We are putting furring strips behind it, and then we're going to be putting our finished ceiling either over this lip or butting to it. And then we're probably going to face this with a piece of plywood. And if we butt it, that will hide our gap. We're basically trying to accommodate this while also making sure that we have ample places to connect our ceiling to. All right, so we just picked up subfloor material. And of course, my Honda Odyssey minivan could haul this no problem, but the Honda Element we have right now, not quite going to cut it. So we got the pickup truck from Home Depot. Check out how easy it is to unload this. So one thing you guys have got to know about me is that I like to cut things tight, a little bit too tight sometimes. It's really not necessary. Every time I do that, I end up having to recut each piece many times, which you're not seeing because it's off camera, but number 1 doesn't fit. Number 2 doesn't fit. Number 3 still doesn't fit. Number 4 doesn't fit. And number 5 fits. It's really not necessary to go through all that trouble with foam, but I want you to know that just because you're seeing these pieces going real quick, doesn't mean that I'm not struggling to get the work done. So basically the process for the subfloor is you cut your foam to size, you cut your plywood to size, then you use 1 28-ounce canister of PL Premium per surface. So that means 1 can goes under a 4x8 sheet of foam, 1 can goes underneath a 4x8 piece of plywood, and then you weigh it down with approximately 600 to 800 pounds per 4x8 sheet, which is why you see so much weight in there. Now what I just described is probably overkill, but I don't want a squeaky, spongy, unfastened subfloor. I want a rock solid subfloor. That's the process that I do, and worked out really well on my bus, and it's exactly what we're doing in here as well.
Well,
what do you think?
I like the sweeping out the trash. Wrappers. Gotcha! I'm thinking I'm climbing up here on the mountain, and then I'm walking to another mountain. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Don't tickle me, Daddy.
Mommy's got a cold, Daddy's got a cold, Nova's got a cold. Ironically, when I was doing the subfloor for our bus, I had hand, foot, and mouth disease, and I was really exhausted, but did it, got it done. You don't get to take days off. I mean, if you need to, take days off. But Sam, I'm sorry I doubted your Honda Element. It can totally haul plywood.
Oh yeah, of course. You didn't even use the roof.
No, this little thing is a tank. Right now we are insulating the engine bay. So it is looking absolutely gorgeous in here now that we've got a bunch of this metal covered in plywood. But we've got more to go. We're gonna fur out the walls, and we're gonna fur out all the details, all the places that we're gonna need to attach plywood to, hide insulation behind. We are gonna cover it in wood to facilitate that. We wanna create a thermal break between the metal skin and structure of the bus and the wood interior. And so we are going to be drilling wood furring strips horizontally into the metal ribs, and then we're going to be drilling a second wooden strip to that first strip so we don't have all of our fasteners going straight from metal to wood. Now I thought about cutting this chair rail. In fact, I tested it out right here. I also thought about cutting it and hammering it down. We decided in the end that we're going to leave this. It does have some structural significance to the bus, and if we don't have to mess with it, we're not going to mess with it. To do that, we're going to be using a sheet of 3/4 plywood and then a sheet of 1/2 inch plywood to add up to 1 1/4. Finally, to break down the plywood, we are going to use a circular saw, a Craig guide, and a piece of 1/2 inch foam. I've gotten really comfortable using this setup now that we are doing it straight on the ground on 1/2 inch foam. Makes really clean, easy cuts. Really cheap way to rip plywood. Definitely recommend it.
Officially sponsored by LaCroix.
There's always going to be some silly little issues in your build that are going to throw a wrench in your plans. In our case, there's a little door access lever. So because I really want to be able to cut that lever off in the inside and get it out of my way, all we have to do is make this little guy go up right here. So I've tied this wire, which easily lifts up, and then routed it to underneath. Just pull on this right here, and this opens no problem. So that way I can cut this lever off and just not have to worry about it forever. So that's all well and good. Back to the furring. We are making these rounded window covers in 2 stages. I've come up with a process. It's very simple. We are lucky to have a great template in the window covers that we took off when we got the bus. So let me show you how I do that, and let's finish covering this interior in beautiful plywood that's going to get hidden. All right, so here's an example of an arch I've already copied. I'm determining how wide I need to be from the edge of the arch. This has to screw into somewhere. So that for us is 2 3/8, and then I've determined how far I want to have a straight run. I don't want to go too far because then I'm wasting too much material, but I don't want to be too short that I don't have enough wiggle room. I push the window frame down and I copy the arch, and then it's relatively accurate. Every once in a while, I feel like you come across a tool that you might describe as life-changing. And this Craig jig, now that I'm cutting it flat on a piece of foam, is just amazing in terms of cutting wood, ripping wood, cross-cutting, unless I need to make a cut that is less than an inch, which really just means I need to be like a smarter carpenter and not measure things wrong. Otherwise, the table saw is obsolete. It really is. It still might come in handy, but it's practically obsolete. I didn't like this before because I kept having to take it on and off. Now I just slide this off and it gives me this little red line, and it gives me a even more surface area to put my hand on to keep things steady. In addition to the Craig jig, I want to tell you guys about tape measures. This one right here, you pull it out, falls back in. You can't actually read what these numbers are. I don't know if it says 3/8 or 5/8. I gotta use my brain to tell spatial differences and estimate which one it is. Not good. This one right here, this old lever lock, it's got centimeters and inches. No, I don't want that at all. What I want is this one. Pull it out and it stays open. If you want to close it, you press that button. This saves me so much time. It's absolutely incredible. On top of that, you can really clearly see numbers for every single spot. I wish I had 5 of these. I'm going to buy more eventually. All right, back to the show. We're doing it, guys. We're doing it. Today's schoolie shout out goes to the Special Schoolie. The Special Schoolie discovered a new t-shirt that I also love. It's the Gildan. This thing is just as good as the Next Level. The Special Schoolie is a brother and sister duo converting a school bus into a fully handicap accessible travel rig. They wanted to create an easy and comfortable way for Sam to be able to travel and see the world without it feeling inconvenient or unsafe. They're hoping to pave the way for accessible travel, and what better place to do it than in a school bus conversion. Cop a t-shirt below to help support their endeavor, and give them a follow on Instagram. Let them know that Mobile Dwelling sent you. Have fun, be safe. The bus is all furred out, the windows are all trimmed out, and the subfloor is all done. Now it looks like plywood whale's belly in here. It looks absolutely beautiful. Super excited to be at this point. Really delighted with how it turned out. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Mobile Dwellings. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and we will see you out there. Peace. All right, today is a new day. Let's do something on the bus. I can't even do it. It was corny then and it's corny now, but I love it.